What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's having a great day. This is kind of a different video I'm making for you guys. It's not a vlog, it's not a challenge. I just wanted to kind of go over more in depth with the thing that I bought at Best Buy the other day. And I just want to preface this video by saying I'm not a videographer, I'm not a photographer. I will be saying some specs and stuff like that for the people that are, but I just want to kind of give my opinion on why I switched. If anybody out there is going from an entry-level camera and maybe is thinking about upgrading, this could be a video to help you maybe decide if you want this or if you want a similar Sony or Nikon or Panasonic or any kind of camera like that. Hopefully this is a video for you. And yeah, I mean, let's just get right into the comparison.
Alright, so the first camera I'm going to be going over is my first camera, my Powershot Sx610 point and shoot camera. It's got all the pieces that it comes with on the inside, you know, wrist strap, battery charger, battery pack. And then here we are actually looking at the camera right now. So I have the wrist strap attached already because I didn't have a tripod when I started. And it does come with a built-in tripod input, so you don't have to worry about, you know, getting any kind of adapter or anything like that. And then here's the front of the camera. It says 18 times optical zoom. There's a little bit of grip on the front. The top, there's the zoom, the on-off button, the built-in flash. You just hit the switch and it comes right up. Now we're actually going to turn it on. So this is how it starts. I had it on hybrid auto. That's just how I used it. You can see everything on screen. It is not a touch screen. This cell phone button here, you can hit it and it is to search for an access point. You get an app and it lets you see what the camera is seeing, but through the app. If you're sitting on the other side of the room, you just have it pointed at you, then you can use this to see what you're looking at. We're just going to go over some specs for this Canon Sx610HS. It is a 20.2 megapixel. The sensor size is 28 millimeters. It's got an 18 times optical zoom and a 4.0 times digital zoom. And we'll be going over those just a little bit later in this video. So the still image shoots in JPEG and the video is MP4 with an MPEG audio. And if you want a more in-depth look on the still image resolution and the video resolution, I will have all of that just right in the description box down below. So now we're going to go over the new stuff. I picked up the video creator kit. It comes with the Powershot G7X Mark II. It comes with the battery pack. It comes with the charger, the base, and this Manfrotto tripod, which is pretty nice. And it has these little grippy feet on the bottom of it so that, you know, it doesn't slip and slide off tables or anything like that. Alright, so here's the front of the G7X. You can see that there is some grip on the side, a lot more than my old camera. And there's also some grip in the top right hand corner. We got the whole interface right here. If we look on top, we have all these knobs just like a regular DSLR would. And it does come with a tripod input, so you also don't have to worry about that. There's a locking little box here for battery and SD cards, so you'll never have to worry about them slipping out. There's a Wi-Fi button right here on the side, so we're going to go ahead and turn it on. And we're just going to go through the modes really quickly. There's custom, manual, aperture priority, shutter speed, TV program, hybrid auto, auto, portrait, and standard. Alright, so now we're going to go through the menu real quick. This is much more important than the other one because you can change so many more settings here. And a lot of them are coming up on screen currently, but one of the most important ones for video is the movie recording size. So you can change the resolution, you can change the FPS and all that here. There's 5 presets that you can do. So here's the 60 FPS. You can tell it looks a little bit more realistic, almost kind of fake looking. It'd be like if you watch TV on it's like a soap opera. And then this is the standard, it's just 30 FPS, 29.97, and it is a touch screen, and you can autofocus before recording and after recording, but we'll also be going over that a little bit later in the video. And here on manual, you can actually set a bunch of settings. You can change the ISO, the f-stop, you can change the shutter speed, and you can check your little chart there to make sure that, you know, you're in the optimum settings that it's telling you. And obviously because it's in manual, you know, you can change the settings so that you can get whatever kind of picture you're looking for. Alright, and one of the most important features of this camera is the selfie screen. You can move the 3-inch LCD monitor. You can flip it completely up so that you can see yourself from the front of the camera. But it also has an arm attached to it so that you can pull the screen out and kind of angle it. You know, if you're in some sun or something, you can't really see the screen alright. You can change the angle. That way you can really see what you're looking at. Alright, now we're just going to go over some specs for the Canon Powershot G7X Mark II. The resolution is 20.2 megapixels, just like the other Powershot. The sensor size is 116 millimeters. It has a 4.2x zoom. There is a 3-inch touchscreen display on the back, as we've already seen. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the exposure specs because this camera does have a manual mode that you can actually change on the fly. The ISO goes from 125, which is the minimum, up to 12,800, which is the maximum. There's a bunch of white balance settings that you can throw on there. Shutter speed range is 15 to 1/2000ths. And for stills, it takes 14-bit RAW and RAW plus JPEG. And the movie file format is MP4 with an MPEG audio. You can check the description box down below and I will have a long list of image and video resolutions for this camera. Okay, now for this part of the comparison, we're going to be looking at the difference between the cameras pointed at a subject that's probably around 5 feet away or so in natural light with the open window behind the camera, all the light on the subject, and then we're going to close the window and do the same test with both cameras and see what the outcome looks like. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. So this is the SX610HS. Alright, so right here we're taking it up to the 18x zoom, but it actually does go further. It does zoom up to 23 times 29, 36, 45, 58, and 72 all the way at the max. And you can see that on screen. It is zooming in closer and closer to the middle of the frame. And then here we zoom all the way out and it's very hard to tell what is written on the box here. Alright, and now we're just going to go right ahead into doing the same camera in low light. You can see that the frame does get a little bit more noisy around this part. This camera does not perform well at all in low light. It's a little bit easier to read because the light isn't so heavy on it, but you can really see the noise around the edges of the frame here, and it's definitely not bad quality at all. It is very noisy and it would be hard to get, even a good quality photo or anything like that out of low light like this with this specific camera. Okay, here we go with the G7X Mark II. This part of the video making process really made me excited that I got this camera. But let's go ahead and get into it. So this is the G7X Mark II in front of an open window, all the natural light on the subject. There is a 4.2x zoom that is the maximum, so this is as far as it will go. But right off the bat, you can see that the quality is just outstanding in comparison to the other camera. And so right here, I'm actually messing with the exposure settings while I'm recording. And that's why it's going from super bright to really dark. And that's what I was saying earlier. You can really pick and choose what kind of scene you're looking for. If you want like a darker tone or, anything like that, you can make it happen while you're recording. And that way, you're getting exactly what you're looking for. And here, I just kept the settings the same, but I closed the window. So you can see that it's very dark. But we're going to be able to change that with the exposure settings. And we're going to go ahead and zoom in. You can still see the writing pretty clear on the subject, and you can also see that there isn't much noise. And right here I'm messing with the exposure settings again, trying to get a good quality picture out of it. And there we go. And here the window is still closed, but I'm bumping up the exposure settings so that I can get a good quality picture. It actually almost looks like when the window was open. And here we go, it's bumped up just way too high. But this is the kind of control you can have over whatever's going on in your frame. And right here, I really just wanted to test the autofocus because I know that there is a lot of great reviews on how fast and well the autofocus works on this camera. So I decided to give it a shot. This is what really blew me away. So this is still the low light setting with the window closed, the exposure bumped up so that it looks like it's brighter in the room. And I'm going to be tapping autofocus on the screen while I'm recording to see if it can focus on the DVD, and here it is switching between the two, but it only takes about 2 seconds. And as you can see, it's just the Harry Potter DVD on the other side of the room. You can almost clearly see the whole front cover of it. And then I zoomed back and it's so quick. And I'm just testing it back and forth now. This time I was having a little bit more trouble, but as you can see, it really doesn't take that long. And another thing that you really can notice in this is even though the exposure is bumped up beforehand, it was nowhere near as noisy as the other Powershot. This camera is very, very good in low light. So if you're like taking a video in your car or if you're under some trees or whatever, even without the exposure bumped up, you know that 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to get a grainy photo or a bad quality photo or video. And for anybody interested, I did do some photo tests. So these first 2 pictures are both of my lovely assistant, Jacob. The first one is the built-in flash, which looks actually really good. It doesn't look too crazy like those 2005 Kodak camera flashes or anything like that. And then the other one, just in natural light, in the same setting as the earlier zoom tests in the video. The next two pictures are both of the SX610HS. The first one is in the same spot with the flash built in on that camera, which it actually doesn't look that bad if I'm honest. However, the natural light photo, which is taken in the same spot, you can see where it kind of struggled a little bit. Now again, this is just an auto, so I'm sure if you played around with the settings on the SX610, you could probably get a better result than I did.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Hopefully this little comparison helped anybody out there that was really struggling to make a decision on upgrading or just buying a new camera in general. Because I know for me, this whole process really justified me spending the money and buying this camera because it absolutely blows my other one out of the water for me. I'm so happy with this upgrade. I really appreciate everybody watching this video. Go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on all my social media. It's in the description box down below, and I'll catch you next time with a banger video.